What up guys, WrestleLamia here, bringing you another top 10 WWE video. In this video we'll be looking at some of the most shocking WWE urban legends, so sit back and enjoy. Gangrel, a Satanist? Gangrel in my eyes will always be known as the oldest looking vampire around. If blood is youth to vampires, this guy must be drinking Kool-Aid. The only thing awesome was his kick-ass theme, which was a heavy gothic anthem that used to scare the crap out of me when I was young. The beginning of his theme was no doubt Darth Vader on crack, but if you listen closely, there are faint whispers of words. The legend goes that if you play Gangrel's theme backwards, there is a hidden satanic message. A YouTuber by the name of Pasher tested this out. The voices creepily state in the words, "I buried Paul." The verdict? Gangrel, real name David William Heath, which honestly sounds more like a protagonist in a romantic novel, had actually confirmed this within his shoot with RF Video. He said that the person who had composed the song had been a massive fan of the Beatles. He made reference to the Beatles' cover art of Abbey Road, stating that Paul McCartney was rumoured to be representing a corpse, hence the words. Knowing this urban legend still hasn't made me feel less creeped out though. There is a message, but it's definitely not satanic. The Montreal Screwjob was a work? The Montreal Screwjob will forever be known as the most infamous incident that has ever occurred in professional wrestling. The incident happened almost 20 years ago with many amounts of bickering and arguing as to who screwed who. Hart shocked the wrestling world by returning in WWE in 2005 to let bygones be bygones, and the feud ended in a nice gentle hug. Aww. There are still some wrestling conspiracists who believe that this whole incident had been planned. Like damn, that sounds even crazier than the fake moon landing. Alright, okay, not that bad. And thus launching the Attitude Era. Some say that this precise moment was when Hart's lug hit McMahon's face. Gross. Those who are unfamiliar to the incident, here's a brief backstory as to what happened. Bret Hart had been offered to work with WCW and thus leaving the WWE for good. His match against Shawn Michaels at Survivor Series 1997 was to be his last match with the company. Hart walked into the match as the champion, and since being in his home country of Canada, he wanted to walk out as champion. He would then forfeit the belt to Vince and work for WCW the next night. Vince at that time was very untrustworthy to Hart's promise and felt that Hart would show up in WCW to mock it the next night, as did the WWE did in 1991 with the World Championship belt. Knowing this, Vince would secretly meet with Michaels to discuss how to retain the belt, contrary to Hart's promise. Therefore, in the words of Triple H, who was also believed to be in on it too, told Shawn, okay, let me get my best impression out here.
If he won't do business, you do business for him.
That wasn't too bad. I've done better. Whilst Michaels had put Bret in the Sharpshooter, Vince ordered referee Earl Hebner to ring the bell, even though Hart did not tap out. Quicker than you can say copyright, Earl was seen quick-stepping it out of the ring as an angry Bret started to manhandle a few Sony Trinitron monitors. Some have questioned as to whether this incident had been planned from the start. Theories have been mentioned by wrestlers and journalists and have even gone so far as to make documentaries about it, one entitled The Montreal Theory. In this they discuss many different discrepancies told by Michaels, Hart and Earl Hebner. Some say that nobody has actually seen the punch even though cameras have been shooting for the wrestling documentary Wrestling with Shadows. Some other discrepancies include who called the sharpshooter to be applied, as both have stated conflicting stories. Bret has said that Pat Patterson had mentioned it, Shawn said that Triple H had the idea, and in Vince Russo's book, he stated that he actually mentioned the idea. Number 2, who spoke to Earl about the swerve? Shawn stated that it was him, whilst Earl stated it was Jerry Briscoe. Number 3, was Patterson in on it too? Conflicting statements by both. So was it a work? I hate to say it, but the theory just seems too far-fetched and doesn't quite add up. It seems it would be too unbelievable that they would have thought this out from the very start. If this theory was ever proved though, Vince would be God. Some questions however just don't add up. Why would they wait so long for the payoff? Unless Vince had a premonition about WCW's fall, it seems that this legend is nothing more than an interesting theory. Raven's rattlesnake. There isn't too much backstory in this next legend, but the story goes that Stone Cold Steve Austin and Scott Levy, otherwise known as Raven, reportedly got into a fight in the locker room because of jealousy issues. Deborah Marshall, who was Austin's real wife at the time, was cutting a promo close to the locker room showers when Raven appeared wearing only a towel. Austin heard of the exchange between the two and got angry at Raven for apparently showing off in front of Marshall. Rumor had it that Raven has a decent sized parsnip between his legs, and Austin allegedly choked and threatened Raven. Raven insists that he had no idea that Marshall was standing there, and Austin apologized for his erratic behavior. The verdict? I will confirm this legend to be more than likely to be true, as a number of wrestlers have confirmed the same story. Raven had also confirmed this to be true in his RF shoot with Honky Tonk Man. But to be honest, in that shoot, he confirmed everything is true when they were asking him about different types of urban legends, so take that with a pinch of salt. Stiles KOs JBL? Good old JBL, arguably the person who has had the biggest character transformation in the history of the WWE. From becoming a beer-swelling, ass-pounding Texan to becoming a fat, beer-swelling, ass-pounding but rich Texan. He has been the company's most biggest heel and has achieved a lot during his tenure. Aside from being a former WWE champion and headliner on SmackDown throughout 2005, JBL has had a history of being an absolute douche. He has openly admitted to hazing many of the WWE superstars and talent on the roster. He also did the following. In 2001, he harassed referee Billy Silverman so much that he quit. The same happened to diva Amy Weber in 2006 for the same reasons. Rumor has it that he also once tied up Brian Christopher in the shower in the locker room and pretended that he was going to sexually assault him with an object. PG era JBL everyone! JBL's bullying came to an end when Joey Stiles, an ECW announcer, knocked the ever-loving shit out of him during an overseas tour in Iraq. All week long, Stiles was viciously hazed by JBL, who reportedly spent his entire time in Iraq severely intoxicated. Stiles apparently could not stand it anymore. When other people got in between the two, Stiles snapped and blasted JBL with a punch that saw JBL end up with a cut and a blackened eye. The verdict? I really can't see this one as being true. Stiles is pretty much half of JBL's size, and for him to knock him out is a stretch. JBL was top talent at the time, and I'm sure Stiles would have had severe punishment for his actions. Oh wait. 2 Ultimate Warriors? By far one of the most strangest theories to ever come out of pro wrestling is that the Ultimate Warrior had died in 1991 and replaced by another person as an imposter in 1992. Most people thought that he was replaced by either Kerry Von Erich, Jim Powers, or a random juicehead. After all, the WWE has pulled similar switches over the years, including the Killer Bees. Their gimmick was based on masquerading as one another. There was also the Dave and Earl Hebner switcheroo at WrestleMania 3, The Undertaker was replaced for a stretch by Bryan Lee, and everyone I hope forgets Undertaker vs Underfaker at SummerSlam 94. Warrior came back to the WWE after a messy little contract issue with Vince during SummerSlam 91. He supposedly held up Vince for more money and was suspended ultimately for inappropriate behavior. After much time, Warrior returned in 1992 and made a surprise run-in at WrestleMania 8, when Papa Shango was too busy hexing everybody in the back and missed his cue to interfere. Warrior seemed different somehow, as he clearly hadn't been going to the gym and dyed his hair blonde. People immediately jumped straight to conclusions that the Warrior had died because of his tight tassels which cut off his blood circulation, or that he died from liver failure due to his years of steroid abuse. In actuality, the Warrior may have just wanted a light sassy trim and maybe a few donuts. Clearly no need to get the death rumors out. For those reasons, I'm stamping this legend falser than Trish Stratus's knockers. Thank you so much guys for watching my video. I hope you can all comment, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and please tune in next week for my next video, which will cover the remaining 5 top urban legends of the WWE.